Hello and welcome to episode 75 of the Disney Park Princess podcast. I'm your co-host, Sara.
I'm Sharla.
And I'm Heather. I'm Sharla. It felt we should do it, our intros like a Mouseketeer.
Right? Exactly.
I'm wearing my Disney Cruise Line shirt. It looks all 80s retro. I'm happy to be here today.
Very fun. Yes, Heather and I are both repping the green today for St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day green. I'm having my own party all by myself.
There's green in the rainbow of my shirt.
Go get a
Come back up. Come back up, because no, I don't think there is.
Yes, there is.
I don't see it.
Red, orange, green. It's the third color.
Oh, it doesn't look like it on the monitor. It looks like blue on the monitor. Yep, looks like blue.
No, blue's underneath it.
Okay. All right. You count. You've got green in the background there. Some stuffed animal is.
That's a T-Rex stuffy.
Oh, there you go. It matches Heather's shirt. Perfect. Okay, so it's been 2 weeks since we last recorded a podcast, and I mean, not much has happened.
Yeah.
Nothing happened at all. I mean, we almost lost our minds, went a little crazy. It's fine.
Fine. It's totally fine. So yes, we are recording this on St. Patrick's Day 2020. So for those of you who are listening to this in years to come, which don't laugh because that happens. I still have people coming to me about way old episodes of the Passporter Moms podcast that they just found and then find out it's over. And it's like, what do you mean? I just found this podcast. Yeah. So it happens. So if you're listening to this many years from now, we are in the thick of the COVID-19 virus. We are all social distancing. We are all pretty much staying home except for rare ventures out for necessities. We are all, and most of our partners are working from home. I think Heather Justin is still going to work, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Mine was until yesterday, but he's now home. And Lou always works from home, so Charlotte's covered.
I would like to point out that this whole social distancing thing that everybody is freaking out about has altered my life in zero ways. Like, my life looks exactly the same as it did a week ago.
The 3 people on this podcast, not particularly affected by this. The people we live with.
Yeah.
I have a teenager. It's not going well. People pray for me. Sharla has an 8-year-old.
She's doing okay right now. This is day 2 of like homeschooling, and they have kind of a structure going. Things are good. Okay. I tried to teach some music today, and I can play piano. I don't know how to teach it, so we're getting
That's a whole other skill set. I think. Yeah.
I don't know where to start. It's like I don't know where to start. So. Yeah. We'll get there though. But she can play the right hand notes of Jingle Bells real well right now.
Okay. All right.
Hey, more than I can play. So
yeah, that's more than I can do. So yeah. All right. So what's going on with Disney? All of the Disney parks worldwide are closed. Disney stores are closed. Disney's Vero Beach, Disney's Hilton Head resorts are both closed. Disney's Hilton Head was the last one to go. It actually just closed today. It was the one remaining holdout. The other resorts, Walt Disney World resorts, are open for another few days and then they are closing. Disneyland resorts are already closed. It's basically
shut down. ABD just shut down.
ABD just shut down through April.
Yeah. And further than that, check and see what you're on. Depending on what you're on, they've closed down several other itineraries through June. So
Japan, okay.
Some of the Italy ones, Cambodia.
Yep, Japan, China's through June. Yep. Yeah. Disney
Cruise Line.
No.
Aulani, anything about
Aulani, I believe, is up and operational. So I guess that's the one holdout. Yeah.
That's what I think.
So what's
benefit of being on a small island in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, right? Nobody can get to you.
Nobody can get to you. So yeah.
Disney shut down, kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Moose at the front should have told you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the situation here. If you are, we'll just be travel agents for just a quick second, and then we'll return you to your normally scheduled goofiness. If you have a trip planned in the next, say, 60 days, and you are wondering what to do you cancel? Do you not cancel? The best advice that we can give you right now is to be patient.
Hold out.
Hang in there. Wait and see what happens, because if Disney cancels your trip or your sailing or your adventure or your whatever it is, you'll have 4 more options available to you in terms of getting a refund or changing your dates without penalties than you will if you jump to cancel too soon.
Right.
So hang tight. If you're
especially
working with a travel
cruise
planner,
line.
you've probably heard from them. Yeah, especially with cruise line.
Because most likely you're already paid in full, so you want to avoid that.
Or Adventures by Disney or whatever. Yeah. So just take a deep breath, hang in there. This too shall pass. Maybe not as quickly as we want it to, but it will. The world will eventually return to whatever the new normal is. So hang in there. I got nothing. We're all just doing the best we can. Oh, I wanted to talk about this because this came up so we're doing lunchtime lives this week and for the foreseeable future, for as long as this lasts, just as a way to sort of connect with you guys, and you can check in and, take a break from whatever it is that's going on in your house. So we're doing lunchtime lives. This week it was Monday, and then we're doing another one today as you're listening to this on Wednesday, and then another one on Friday. So I did the Monday. Heather is doing the Wednesday. Sharla is doing the Friday. And the rest of us check in and pop our heads in when we can. So you can join us in our Disney Park Princess Facebook group. If you're not a member of the Facebook group, get in there. There's some really fun stuff going on. And in our lunchtime live on Friday, one of our listeners, Deanne, mentioned the movie Pollyanna, because I was asking what are people watching on Disney Plus, and Pollyanna came up, and the Glad Game. I had not thought of the Glad Game in so long.
I've actually never seen Pollyanna.
Okay, so nobody gets to say anything to me about The Happiest Millionaire ever again. Ever. I don't want to hear it.
Seen the Snowmobile.
Yep, and you don't get to say anything about it because you haven't seen most of the movies between 1980 and 1990. So
that's true. I was a child in the 80s, so I've seen Disney movies from there.
Both of the Happiest Millionaire and the Snowmobile are better than Pollyanna.
So I love Pollyanna. Don't hate on Pollyanna. I don't want to hear it.
I'm not hating on Pollyanna. I'm not.
But in Pollyanna, they play something called the Glad Game, which is basically just taking whatever the world throws at you and putting a positive spin on it. And this seems like the perfect time for that. So people in our group are playing the Glad Game. We're all sharing. What are we glad about right now? So come to Facebook, join the Disney Park Princess Facebook group. We're having a lot of fun in there, and everybody's posting sort of funny memes and sharing information. And it's the perfect little respite from like the CNN, Fox News of it all.
Right. Oh my gosh, doom and gloom, the world is ending. Ah!
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah. I'm trying to stay off Twitter. That's my goal for right now. It's just to not read it.
Person, but
I stay off everything. Like I don't, unless you're showing me pictures of puppies or food, I don't want to know what your take is on the virus.
Funny that you mentioned that, because since this is our news section, Heather has some news she would like to share with us.
I did a thing, guys. I'm still very emotional about it, but I went and I adopted a new dog, and his name is Clyde. Let me see if I can get him over here. Mr. Clyde! Clyde, come here. Clyde's ignoring me. He said, I came over once for you already.
Yeah.
He is a 12-year-old Boston Terrier. He looks almost identical to Copley, which is why I wanted to rescue him. His family couldn't care for him any longer. So I stepped in and I adopted him, and I'm going to give him the most wonderful golden years ever. He's really cute. I'm hoping to debut him on the Facebook Live today, probably right around now, if you're listening to it. So hopefully you'll be able to either tune in or go back and watch that and see if he can make an appearance.
Yeah. And he is the cutest.
He's very cute. He's very cute. He's not Copley, but he's pretty awesome.
He's pretty cute though. Yes. Yeah. And so we love him and we welcome him to the Disney Park Princess family. So yay!
He'll be our new little mascot. Except he just likes this sweet, so.
That's right. And for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, that's not him in the background. That's one of Heather's other dogs.
That's Mom. Mom, say hi.
Oh, on cue. Wagging his tail. Well trained. So welcome to the family. All right. Today's topic, a much happier topic than anything. Almost than anything. The dog's pretty happy. But Sharla, in the middle of all this, was actually on the Disney Dream. Yeah. All right.
One of the last few.
Yes. We want to know everything. What was it like cruising during COVID? Give us everything.
Okay. So when we left, it really did not occur to us not to go. it's a serious thing, and we knew that, but from, what we have heard and read, if you're healthy and not above 70 years old, generally it was safe to cruise, and that was our feeling on it. And so that was what we did. So arriving at the port, we knew ahead of time that there would be a different health questionnaire. And so that was a little bit different. Instead of the normal, do you have tummy issues and some things like that, it was, have you been to China? Have you been in contact with anybody with this virus? I mean, no to all of those. And then as far as I knew, I had not been in contact with anyone with the virus, because I wouldn't know that. But the interesting thing was, when we checked in, she thumbed through our passports to make sure the stamps on it did not. So we have been to Japan, but it's been a few years now. So when she got to mine and she saw Japan, she kind of looked at the date and then she kept going. So we were okay,
so they're not just taking your word for it. They are checking.
Right. But I did say, so what if I were cruising with just my birth certificate? Because I could still, even though I have a passport, I could still cruise on a closed loop cruise with just a birth certificate. And she said that they were running people through the database. And I said, okay.
Okay, interesting.
So that being said, because they do background checks on everybody and stuff like that. So I don't see why they couldn't just add that to it. Okay, so then after that, we got, she said they're going to take your temperature before we went on. So we heard that was going to happen too. But that was in a different place than I thought it would be. I kind of thought it would be like as we were checking in. But no, it was on up into the terminal, or into the, what do they call it, the gangway. When we handed them our key to the world card, right before that, they had some people from the health center taking temperatures. And it was just one of those temporal scanners. It really.
So did they actually? Was it one of the ones that physically touched you, or was it just one of the guns? It was just one of the little guns. Yeah. Okay.
And it really took no extra time. I mean, maybe 30 seconds, if that. It was no extra time. The people that were there were in scrubs, so I'm guessing they were nurses, either local nurses or from the ship. They could have very well been from the ship. I'm not sure. They were wearing gloves and scrubs, and they just went, doop, doop, go ahead. Doop, doop, go ahead. So I did not see them pull anybody to the side, but again, we were only there for a couple of seconds.
Right.
And then on the ship itself, and this was just when we were boarding, it seemed like there were more hand sanitizer wipes and stations set up than in the past. Which
is impressive, because they're normally pretty prevalent.
And maybe I was just more hyper aware of it too, because they give them to you when you enter a restaurant, or on some of the ships they do have hand washing stations at the buffet. But they were, like sometimes if you go, like on the Dream and Fantasy, if you're just walking through cabanas and they try to hand you one, you can just kind of say, I'm not eating, I'm just walking through, and kind of skip it. I usually take one anyway, but on this they were like, no, you have to take one. If you're going through this restaurant, take one.
Yeah.
And then the biggest change, this was on the next to the last day of our cruise. No, on Wednesday, so 2 days to go. They said the WHO has declared this COVID a pandemic. And therefore, at every buffet and at the soda stations, they were already doing it for ice cream. They were serving you. So when we went to cabanas, you just had to say, I want this and this and this. And the ice cream, they were already doing that the whole cruise, serving you. And then the soda station, that was the most annoying of it, if you can even call it that, because I don't really think it was that annoying. Just made the line a little bit longer, because it just took a little bit longer to have somebody serve it to you. Okay. But it was not really a problem. I mean, I would consider it a very, very minor inconvenience that they had to serve it. So they, like, cabanas was the most inconvenient of them, that they were serving you. But again, it's not that big of a deal at all. And then on our last night, that's when they decided to cancel some of the cruises going forward. So they told us that if you were on the back-to-back cruise, your next cruise would go as planned, and that was the last one. So we were on the next to the last cruise.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they did do the 3-night after that. Okay.
They did.
All right. Okay.
I was wondering because I had already heard that they were canceling them as of like that Saturday, but then the cruise was scheduled to go on Friday, so I was not sure. But they did announce that it was going to go forward as planned.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, but it was. Disney Cruise Line internet is not the best, or it's fine actually.
Oh.
The internet itself works just fine. It's just that you cannot do anything because you're so rushed, limited on minutes and all this stuff. So a lot of my information was gathered really quickly. Or we could see the coast of Miami, so I signed on I just turned off airplane mode and used my cellular service, and that's when I got a lot of information. And
Sharla and I figured out, I forget when, but at one point during our cruises together, we figured out that you can send iMessages using Disney's just the free Wi-Fi. So Sharla and I could text each other.
Yeah.
Heather, who refuses to get an iPhone.
I mean, I had to wait send text messages over Wi-Fi. So,
well, I sent Justin a message because he has iMessage. So I sent him a message. I was like, I need to know about this dog.
Is she okay? And he's like, I don't know. I'm not home.
Yeah. Like, go home and tell me about this dog. I need to know. But anyway, so it all worked out. And I guess the cast of the Disney Cruise Line is getting a little bit of a break.
So it's interesting. Not yet. They are, from what we have heard and what I have been told, and I had a client ask me about this, and so I've been researching, they're all still at work. They're all still on the ships. They have not been sent home. So a lot of the ships are, a few of the ships are still sailing. So the Disney Wonder is still at sea. The Disney Magic is still at sea. The Dream and the Fantasy are both, one is docked in Port Canaveral and one is sort of circling just off Port Canaveral. So,
be on this cruise, like you're on this fantastic vacation, you're on the Wonder, wherever, and then you get back in port, and that's it. Like everything has gone to hell. Well, you've been gone. Like you don't get to decompress nothing. You're just thrown into it. Like, how am I going to get home? This is horrible.
That's kind of what, because we planned to go to Universal on Friday after we got off the ship, and we did still go. But I was like, I don't know, because I had heard by that point that the Disney parks were closing, and I was like, well, Universal's going to close. But we didn't know when, and so I'm like, I was texting my friend, I was like, please keep me posted if you hear that they're closed, and we won't go that way. But we already checked in by the time we got off the ship, and they were still open and crowded. Holy cow, they were crowded. But, I didn't really notice anything there above the normal protocols. My friend who works there said that they are going to continue to come to work if they can. If they're able to come to work, they can come to work, and they are going to just deep clean everything and paint and do all this stuff that they can't normally do without taking down an attraction. So I would expect that Disney's doing similar things.
I would imagine. Yeah. We'll see.
Getting everything spiffied up. I mean, think about a cruise ship. It's a working thing. Like they're painting all the time when you're on the ship, and when you're at Castaway Cay, they're doing a lot of maintenance to the ship because that's the only time they have to do it. So I would imagine that they are doing whatever maintenance they can while they're not with guests.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So tell us about some of the fun stuff about your cruise, because I know you had a couple things that you had never done before, right?
Yes. So my husband and I did first of all, on Sail Away Day, this is kind of our new tradition. Nora and I got a pedicure. So that was very fun, very cute. And it was not my favorite pedicure that I've ever had, especially for the money, but she didn't rub my feet. She just put the little scrub on it and left them alone. I don't know. I feel like you get better pedicures on land, but the massage is top notch. So my husband and I did the couples villa massage, and it was great. You start off with a foot washing ceremony, and then they leave, and you have time in the hot tub, and they come back in and get you, and then you have your massage, and then after the massage is over, they put you back outside on the open air veranda, which was lovely. It was just gorgeous weather that day. And they give you fruit and tea and I drank my entire glass of tea. You'd be proud. Um, um, and like fruit, it was like a skewer of several different types of fruit and chocolate covered strawberries, and it was nice. Yeah, it was a good treatment. It was
nice.
Yeah, it was very nice. But any kind of spa treatment that you get generally on Disney Cruise Line is fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then Nora had a little bit more freedom this cruise, in that she was allowed to check herself in and out of the kids club, which is
she's a big girl now.
She's a big girl.
Time.
So we made her, on the first day, we said, okay, take us to our room and then take us to the kids club, so that so she knew the best way to go. Mm-hmm. And we got her a little tiny smartphone that connected to the Disney Wi-Fi so we could chat with her, and she wasn't allowed to use it in the club, but when she got out of the club, she would text us, I'm going to the room, or I'm going for, and pretty much it was just the room. She was good about letting herself in, and if we weren't there, she would wait until we got there. She was very, very good. She took her responsibilities very seriously. So it was very good. Yeah, it was very good. And then we of course made some rules on where she could and couldn't go before that and everything.
So just out of curiosity, like, what were the rules? Like, what guidelines did you set for her?
She could go up to the pool deck to get ice cream, but she could not go into a pool whatsoever. She couldn't go near it. She could go up to that deck to get ice cream. She could go with a friend to do that. Like if she met a friend in the kids club, she could not go into anybody else's room.
Good.
She couldn't go to a restaurant by herself more than just ice cream, really. I think they would have maybe looked at her funny for that, but that was basically what she could do. Just go get a snack and go back down there. And then she had to let us know when she left. Now, we did get a text, and the wave phone blasted when she checked herself in and out of the kids club. So we knew already.
So they let you know as well. Okay.
Yeah. Now, we didn't know that was going to happen.
Okay.
But so she would leave the kids club and sit down in one of those little porthole windows, and she would text us where she was going. So we just needed to know where she was. That was it. That was the main thing. But yeah, don't go in the pool and don't go to anybody else's room. Were the main rules, and she was very good about it. So I felt pretty confident that she was just fine. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I remember that first time though. It's always a little large.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt so much better about it once I figured out that they were the cruise line, that they were texting us. But a couple of times we went to get her just to see if she wanted to leave, and she would be like, yeah, I'll go, or no, I want to stay. And so that didn't really change. And I absolutely love it that you can check in to where your kid is in the kids club, and they'll say Nora is at Disney Infinity, or Nora is over in the lab doing this. Like they know
exactly. Yeah.
They give them a little magic band, and then they zip tie it on. So of course she figured out how to get hers on and off, but you have to have that magic band going to the kids club. So
now, how old do they have to be before they can sign themselves in and out? Is Disney 8? Okay.
So it's 8 with a parent's permission, and then at 10
they
don't need your parents' permission. Yeah, they can do it.
Yeah. So when I did the online check-in, I had to make that decision. Now I could have said one way or another and not told her, or changed my mind at any point and all that. And we might have used a little bit of bribery to get good behavior. Good behavior before we left for a couple of months before we left. So
yeah.
But let's see, what else did we do that was different? Palo Brunch. I just wrote a blog about it, so you can read all about it there. But I have to talk about this chicken parmesan, because everybody had said you have to get the chicken parmesan.
We told you.
I cannot describe how incredible this was. It was so good. And we ordered so much.
I feel like there's so many listeners doing exactly what Sara and I are doing right now. We know.
Yeah. I mean, people can describe something and you're like, yeah, I'm sure it's good, whatever, until you actually taste it. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yep.
But we ordered so much food, and we even ordered some pasta for after we had the chicken parmesan and the lasagna. And I finally just looked at our server and I said, I can't eat this pasta. Please do not bring it to the table. We're done. Cancel it. She said, okay. So it was all good. It was amazing. But we ate at Palo twice. We had dinner and then we had brunch. And I would,
if you had to choose, you could only do one, dinner or brunch. Which would you choose?
this is very difficult because brunch does not have my souffle.
I know.
But I'm going to choose brunch.
Me too. I would choose brunch.
I would choose dinner.
Yeah.
I just love all the pastas and the Italian.
Yeah. I say the calamari at dinner is amazing.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
I love them both, and I would never want to have to choose. But if I had to.
Yeah.
I would choose.
But now that I have been to brunch, like it's gotten to where that I've been to dinner enough times that I don't order as much food as I used to, because it used to be that I would order everything because I wanted to try it all. But now that I've been enough, I know what I want, and I might change it up, but I don't have to order everything. So now that I've been to brunch, I know I don't have to order all this other stuff. But it was absolutely incredible, and it was definitely a highlight. So the biggest tip for that is book it early as you can, as when your window opens up, you book that brunch, because it's so limited.
Yeah.
I wish they would do it every day, and that would help.
It's only on days at sea. So.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if you're on a 3-night sailing, there is no brunch.
Right.
If you're on a 4-night sailing, you got one shot.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly. So, I had tried for several cruises to do it, and I wasn't fast enough, and we even put ourselves on the waiting list last fall, and we didn't get in it. So.
Nope.
Yeah.
And that was on a sailing where it was really rough seas, like really rough seas, and we were the top of the waiting list. We thought for sure we would get it. People don't cancel Palo Brunch.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't cancel it.
Yeah.
I told you the one and only time I've been seasick, I had Palo Brunch, and I walked in there. I'm like, oh,
yep.
I don't care. Just give me a pancake. They saved me though, and I got to eat everything. But yeah, I wouldn't cancel that. Yeah,
it was. But our server was fantastic. We had the same server both times, which I figured they would do. But we kind of said to our server, we'll be back for brunch. Hopefully we'll see you. And so I don't know if she said something. I don't know if they just did it, but normally they do that. Anyway, it was excellent. We had a great time. So.
Oh, yay. Good. How was your weather?
Great weather.
Yep.
Not too hot. It was very breezy the day we were at Castaway Cay.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little warm, but gosh, not bad at all, because it was so breezy. It was really nice. The water was cold. We didn't do any excursions this time. We didn't do a whole lot in terms of planned activities, because we like to just kind of do what we want to do and feel it out. At Castaway Cay, we spent not even that much time on the island itself. We went out. I walked around for a bit and took some pictures and video, and they got in the water, and I came back, and Lou had buried Nora in the sand. and I was like, I was gone for 30 minutes and you cut her head off. So that was there. And then I got in the water a little bit, and then we went back, we had lunch, and we went back on the ship. And then I went out for a run, because I was like, I want to go for a run on the island instead of having to run on the ship. So I did that, and then that was about it. So Nora just wanted to be in the kids club. So
fantastic.
It's like a real vacation that way.
Yeah. Besides the whole everything in the news, it was a really nice
besides the fact that she worked almost the entire
whole
cruise.
thing.
Yeah. Besides that,
who could have known? But then, so then after the cruise, we did go to Universal. We stayed at Cabana Bay, which I had never stayed at before. I had toured it, but never stayed there. It was fun. It was a really fun little hotel. And
what type of room were you in?
Just had in the tower. And then we just went to Islands of Adventure, because our friend was nice enough to give us park tickets, and who works there, and they were blocked out of Universal. So we didn't go to Universal, but went to Islands of Adventure. And the absolute highlight was I think it's their newest, but the newest attraction there, which is the Hagrid's motorbike, and it's unbelievable. So good.
Really?
Yes. There's a very long wait for it. But I was know people who know people, and we did not have to really wait in the line. So
she's a VIP.
I am a VIP.
That's right.
Very important.
But it was absolutely fantastic, that ride. I highly recommend to anybody going. I would have waited. Like I always say, I'm not going to wait for a couple hours for a ride or something. I'll wait for that one. If I have to wait for that one, I would wait for that one. It was so good.
In terms of like thrill level, where would you place it? Way high.
Way high. It felt
like Incredible Hulk, kind of.
Well, I liked it better. Yeah, it's that thrill.
But in terms of thrill level, okay,
it's that type of thrill. I thought it was incredibly fast, but I looked it up and it's nowhere near like the fastest roller coaster. Maybe there, but not the fastest roller coaster in the world or anything like that.
Okay.
It felt so fast. And there were some elements to it that I have never before seen in a roller coaster.
Okay.
So it's not like I'm not gonna say. I will not tell on the podcast what those elements were. But like I have seen before, like a dark ride / coaster or something like that. No, it's pretty much all coaster. But with elements that unreal.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I can't wait to try it. I love a good coaster.
Yeah. Yeah, you would love it. It's so good.
Exciting. Because I loved Dueling Dragons. So
yeah, this is different. It's a complete. It's not like they even used any of the same track. It's completely different.
Completely new. Okay. Oh, I'm excited about that.
All right. We have to do our next trip to Universal.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
I haven't been in a minute to the one in Orlando, and I love it there. Really love it there.
I had heard that this.
What?
I think it's been 4 years since I was there last.
Yeah.
It might be. Yeah, 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
It's been about almost 3 years for me. Yeah. I think May will be 3 years because I was there for the opening of Volcano Bay. So that was the last time I was there.
Yep.
Yeah. It was. I mean, like it lived up to its hype. This ride. It was so good. So good.
All right.
Yeah. And then we came home, and
and the world is falling apart.
The world had gone mad. Yeah. Yeah, I had a client that had been on a 9-night cruise and sort of came off going, "What happened?" I left for a week.
Turn around and get back on that boat. You don't want to be here.
Exactly. Stay on the ship.
But you can't.
But you can't because they suspended operations. I know. Yeah. Oh, I know. If you follow any crew members on Instagram, which I highly recommend, if you're a fan of a particular cruise line, following their captains or their crew members on Instagram, you get some really interesting. So I follow the captain of the Celebrity Edge on Instagram, mainly for her cat.
I was gonna say, you only follow her because she has a
cat.
But the cat has her own Instagram page. I follow both of them. And so it's been really interesting to see the Celebrity Edge sort of sailing with just the crew, and so Disney Cruise Line, same thing. There's a lot of cast members and things that have Instagram. So
I've seen some photos of the parks empty and stuff like that too. So
it's like drone footage or helicopter footage or something. Easy. Yeah. But hopefully in the not too distant future, and the more people stay home,
can you all just please stay home so we can go back to Disney? If everybody just sits home for 2.5 weeks, we're gonna nip this thing in the bud. Stay home.
I have the Star Wars race coming up, and we are uncertain what's going to happen with that. But they needed to make a decision because I'm starting these really long runs, and I need to know.
You're like, if I gotta have to run 10 miles, I don't want to run.
I know, exactly. So there's some restrictions here on like the parks, or like the parks that we usually run in and stuff. And I told my running partners that we would just run 6 feet apart and we'd be all right.
That's right. Yeah, social distancing.
But, I would like to know if I'm going to have to run this race, which I would love to. I would love for everything to be open and safe if it's safe, but I'd like to know soon.
And for those of you who are listening and are yelling at your computer or your car radio or whatever you're listening to this on and saying, "Oh, well, you ladies weren't so serious about this a few weeks ago," you're right. We weren't. We didn't know then what we know now.
I'm gonna defend my comments from a few weeks ago because it's not that I never thought this was a big deal, but if I just got a list of the number of confirmed cases in Los Angeles County, like my 2 towns that I live in have 0 cases. Los Angeles, which has hundreds of thousands of residents, has 11 cases. So it's not that this isn't serious, but there's way more confirmed cases of the flu. So why are we not that worried about the flu? It's just that this is a new thing that we don't know anything about. The flu is familiar to us, even though it's way more widespread. So
yeah, but I know, but I'm like, just everybody just stay home, and then if you stay home, then no new cases will come up,
right?
And then we can go out and do other things, you know.
Right.
So
Exactly.
Yeah, but good news is they're already testing vaccines as of today. I saw that, which is crazy soon. So we'll see, but.
Yeah. I know in our area that they've started implementing drive-through like mobile testing units. My husband's hospital has a mobile testing unit that's out there. And testing, that's the big issue, right? Is there aren't enough tests to confirm. And so, you know, as every single day goes by and as we learn more and as we understand more, our attitudes are changing. Everybody's attitudes are changing. Yeah. And when you know better, you do better. So that's it. Everybody's learning together.
Yeah. Nobody was staying home 3 weeks ago. You know?
Nobody was staying home a week ago.
Well, and nobody stays home when they have the cold or they have the flu. So maybe this is something that we all learn together, that when you're sick, stay home.
You should stay home. Right, exactly.
Whether it is the cold or a virus I've never heard of.
We all should have been staying home and we didn't know.
Yeah. Right? I hope what we get out of this
to be fair, I was staying home because I don't go anywhere.
Yeah. Well, I hope what we get out of this is more people with the ability to take time off that's paid or to work from home. That's a whole that's a whole thing that is not about
that's a whole other podcast. Yeah, that's a whole other podcast. But
there's I know if you can't stay home, I understand that, and I'm very sympathetic to you.
We're not talking to you. If you are a person who is mandated to go, you have to go to work. We understand. There are a lot of people that don't have the luxury that we have, and this, you know, that we are very privileged to be able to do what we do and to continue to do our jobs and take care of our family and do it all from the safety and security of our home. If that privilege is not afforded to you, then our hearts are with you, because it's an incredibly difficult decision to make. So healthcare workers, hourly workers, food service workers, emergency services, sanitation services, like these are all things that these people still have to get up every day and go out and do their jobs. And we're incredibly grateful.
Yeah.
Just incredibly grateful. So, so anyway, with that concludes this week's episode of the Disney Park Princess Podcast, episode 75. I still can't believe it's been 75 episodes. That's crazy. But, you know, we'll be back next week with episode 76 on the Patreon Extra. Sharla, why don't you tell everybody what we're doing for the Patreon Extra this week?
Okay. So I've kind of surprised them with it because they don't know what we're doing. But my family and I played Disney trivia. You know, I love trivia. Sara and Heather love trivia. So I saved my score sheet, and I'm going to ask them the trivia questions that we had on the the dream last week.
I'm scared. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Scared.
Well, I will tell you.
Can we play as a team? I think we should be able to play as a team.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Some of the questions were so easy.
You can't pit Heather and I against each other. It will get ugly.
Yeah.
I wasn't even going to keep score. I just wanted to ask them. Some of them were, holy cow, so hard but maybe you'll know them.
Hold on. I want to say one time I played trivia on one of the Disney ships, and one of the questions was the release date of Alice in Wonderland, and I was the only one in the whole trivia. And I was like, yes! I was the only one that knew. I was so excited.
See, right there. I'm already losing. I have no idea what that was.
There are no Alice in Wonderland questions.
See, fair game. That's all I know.
Okay. All right.
So, I may not be able to ask them all because I only wrote down the answers, so I'm just going to rely on my memory to come up with the questions.
I don't think we need to do every single trivia question. That's going to be a very long Patreon Extra, but we'll do some of the highlights. And if you have no idea what we're talking about, or you're new to our podcast and you don't know what Patreon is a way for content creators to help fund their endeavors. So you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Disney Park Princess. There is a monthly subscription. You decide what level you want to subscribe at. It's $5, $10, or $15 a month. You get different perks with each one. We do have we have our regular Disney Park Princess Facebook group. We also have an exclusive Disney Park Princess Patreon group. And we do exclusive content for the podcast, both audio and video, that you can watch online. So that's what this week's is going to be. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got a new Boardwalk Inn video up that went up like a week or so ago. We've got this podcast that goes up on YouTube every single week. And then hopefully Sharla's going to have some Disney Cruise Line content that'll be coming in the next few weeks.
I'm hoping that things will slow down a little bit. I can have a little bit of time to learn how to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And they'll go up in the next few weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we will be back next week with episode 76. We don't have a topic yet because nothing is certain in these changing times. So we'll see. We haven't done a listener Q&A in a few weeks, so might be time for a little listener Q&A. I don't know.
I like those.
Yeah. If not next week, then we will definitely have one, in the next few weeks. So you can email your questions to info@disneyparkprincess.com, and we'll answer it on an upcoming episode. So that's it. Thanks so much, guys. Talk to you next week.
Bye.